Hey everyone, we have Alyssa here, and Alyssa's story is absolutely incredible. You're definitely going to want to stick around for this story. She just quit her job at Target last week. She's a full-time entrepreneur, has gained complete freedom from starting her e-commerce business. Her highest month in sales has been $49,000 in sales, which is crazy because she was also working a job while doing that. And she has a really big vision for where she wants to take her company. And so I just cannot wait for her to kind of dive into this. I know that in the beginning, she's mentioned she did have some limiting beliefs. She did get discouraged at times. And it's just incredible to see someone that did feel a little bit down at times and did kind of question it and then stuck with it. And look where she is now. Her life is literally completely changed and is on to some really, really big things. So Alyssa, thank you so much for being here. And this story is going to be absolutely incredible. So how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. So let's kind of talk about what you had going on before you joined eCom Babes. Like, what is it that made you decide to join eCom Babes? Were you looking into e-commerce? Did you already have a business with e-commerce? Did you have a ton of experience? Was this brand new? Can you kind of touch on that for us?
It was very brand new to me. I had already had a business with my now ex-boyfriend, and we had a real estate business together. So I had some business experience, but definitely not anything relating to e-commerce because we did real estate. So that relationship ended, and that's kind of why I was just looking for something new, something to do kind of on my own. And that's when I found Ecom Babes, and I had a call, and I didn't sign up right away. And I had actually put it on my credit card instead and like used some of the money from the other business. And I just really wanted to make it work. And then in July, I pretty much set up my website, did everything that month. And then in August, I think I made about $800. And then at the end of August, I moved out of living with my now ex. And then those next few months, I didn't really do much. And then I think I started doing ads at the end of December and just kind of working with Tom. And then I found the product that I'm using now doing ads for. And that's when it actually really took off for me in like February, January.
Cool. And I know before we got on this interview, you kind of like were talking to me a little bit about in the beginning how you used to watch these stories to help inspire you when you were feeling kind of down and discouraged. So what, I guess, I know there's a lot of people that do get into that place because this isn't always the easiest thing. It can be frustrating at times. Starting a business isn't always just like this. And we do have students that question things and they do start to get down. So do you have any advice for people that are feeling like that? Because I know you felt like that too, and you worked your way through that. So what would you say to that person who's kind of struggling with that discouragement?
I would definitely say for sure, like you said, coming on and watching the videos of other people that have been successful, that was really, really helpful for me. Just as I was building my store, I would like find something that was a little bit more difficult and something I definitely didn't know how to do yet. And I would watch the videos, and it seemed like if other people in the group could do it, then I could also do it too.
Totally. And I know a lot of our students that are producing bigger numbers like you, and I know you'll touch on those in a second, there's like a big trend with all of them saying they really took week one seriously. They took the mindset work really seriously. They read the books, they wrote their goals. So can you touch on that a little bit too, and how important that's been for your journey?
Yeah, I think something that's really helped me that you had suggested was listening to books on Audible. Because when I was working at Target for a while, I had a pretty long drive. So I would drive like 30, 45 minutes to work and that long back also. So I would listen to books on Audible. And I felt like that was something that was really helpful to me just because I was constantly having something going into my head that was positive instead of just sitting in the car thinking about how I didn't want to go to work. Instead, it was like, well, there is hope for what I can have in the future.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that. It's such an important part of everyone's journey. So I'm glad that you've noticed that too. Your success has been easy, and it's been a very short period of time where you really got the ball rolling. So talk about your sales so far, what they've been, where your vision is, what you plan to take this thing to. I know you have a pretty big goal this month. Maybe you want to touch on where, what's the date? It's the 15th. We're halfway through the month. So what are your sales so far? What do you think you want to end on the month?
I mean, originally I was wanting to do 150,000, but I've had some issues with my ads. I'm still gonna shoot for that. I know before I had some issues with my ads, I was averaging around like 5,000 a day. I think my highest was like 5,600. Now I'm averaging like a little over 3,000. But once I get those ads figured out, I think that I should definitely be making more again. But I think I haven't really thought that much about my vision for my store yet, just because it kind of just took off like really recently. But my main goal for my store was just kind of to give myself the freedom to be able to do whatever I want whenever I want. And I'm not quite at that point yet, but I definitely was able to quit my job. So that's a completely different life already. But I mean, I definitely want to have shorter shipping times for my products and hopefully have my own warehouse. I'm just not for sure if I want that. I mean, it's not really my passion to do e-commerce, but I think it's going to give me the foundation that I need to work on what I'm actually passionate about.
Yeah, that's awesome. And definitely like that is in the cards. Everyone here, when they start this process, we kind of have to like go through the process. And sometimes like in the beginning, like maybe not everything's perfect. Maybe the shipping time isn't perfect, or maybe you don't have your custom branded packaging on it and it's just not exactly how you envisioned it. But that's the beauty of this process, is you're like just approaching the point where a lot of our really advanced students are, where they have their own warehouses, they have 2-day shipping, they have their custom branded stuff on all their packaging. So you're definitely on your way there. And I think that's really cool. I mean, it's crazy that it's the 15th and you've already done $50,000 in sales, and you're going to probably finish the month at $100,000 in sales. And to think that you were just like working, at Target last week, is just like a really cool thing to see. I know in the moment, because you're an entrepreneur and you're so focused, like it might not always seem exciting, but as an outsider, I think that's like a really cool accomplishment, and you should be super like proud of yourself.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I am working on as well, is just like actually celebrating the things that I accomplish, because I get so much tunnel vision where it's like this is where I want to be. But actually like I got my nails done, I got a massage, like doing things for myself to celebrate what I've accomplished, I know is really important as an entrepreneur. So that's something I'm trying to get better at.
Yeah, it's funny because I can already tell you're a little just like, it's like you're just used to this. It's like, yeah, this is like my business, this is what I do. And like it's just, I feel like when people start hitting these bigger numbers, they don't get as excited about it anymore, because they know like what's possible. Once you reach a certain threshold, then like, oh yeah, $150,000 in a month is possible. And you're like not super on track for it this month, and you're like kind of discouraged. You're like, what the heck? I'm not doing 150,000. I'm only doing 100,000 this month. Like, so it's super funny to watch. And if you think about it, it sounds kind of silly, but you get it because you're a hungry entrepreneur and you know what you're capable of. And when you feel like there's anything left on the table, you're not satisfied with it. So it's really cool to see that.
Yeah,
Um,
it's definitely been
oh, go
helpful
on.
other people around saying like, this is crazy, right? Like
Yeah, it is kind of crazy because yes, we see it a lot in eCom babes community, and it's almost become kind of normal, but it's not really normal to people outside of this type of community. So it's really exciting. Okay, cool. So I want to end this interview with any advice that you have, because we have a lot of students that, or people, women that just, they want to start an e-commerce business, or they want to start a business, or they just are in ecom babes and they're not doing much. They're not fully believing in themselves. What advice do you have for these people that are kind of sitting on the fence a little bit?
So I think something that I want to talk to them about would be something that I heard in an Audible book recently. It's just that it's like walking out on a bridge, but you can't see the bridge yet until you look back and you see that there's like something under your feet. It's just kind of like walking out on the faith that you'll be able to figure it out.
I like that. What do you know what book that was in?
I think I'll have to get back to you on that. I'm pretty sure it was. Oh, I'm not for sure. I'm trying to
That's
think of
okay.
what I was on Audible.
That's a good lesson though. So So really the lesson is just like trusting the process and having faith.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. That's something that I really try to stress with our students and everything, is because you can't really go at it alone. And no matter like what you believe in, I just think believing in something bigger than you is really important, and just trusting that you are being guided. And if you put it out there and you set the expectation for what you want in your life, a bigger force really does help bring it to you. So I think that was a really awesome way to kind of wrap this up. I think that's a great note.
Yeah, and I mean something that I didn't mention, I know I've mentioned it in the group before. That month, so last month, my highest month, it was very surreal because I would just find change on the ground. Like I would be finding money on the ground and there would just be spare change like everywhere. It was so weird. And I would just like remind myself of like I'm abundant and things like that. And I actually found 2 pennies on my last day of work and I still have them. So
Wow, that's cool. So that month that you had the $49,000 month, your highest month so far. Well, I guess it's not your highest month so far, but previous to this month, it was. So were you focusing on being more abundant that month? Like I know you said you were finding pennies, but was your intention that month to like put out abundance and attract like a really big month?
yeah, I was using a meditation app also called Omvana, which is through a company called Mind Valley, which focuses on personal growth. And I was listening to an abundance meditation pretty much every morning.
That's awesome. I think that's a really good thing to throw into this, because abundance is key. Like if you live in lack, you're just going to attract more lack. But if you're abundant and you know you're always being taken care of, there's more than enough. So thank you for sharing that. That's a really great lesson.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Awesome. Well, do you have any final thoughts that you want to add in, or do you think you kind of got it all out there? I think you touched on a lot.
I think that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Alyssa, so much for being here. I know that this is really going to inspire many, many women and potentially change someone's life. So everything you're doing is incredible. It's so inspiring, and it's definitely creating a ripple effect for other women. So thank you so much. And I can't wait to do another one of these when you have your first $200,000-300,000 month, which I know is not that far away. So thanks for your time today.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.